And this is going to be introducing 2 new modules into the game. But before I jump into those, I just want to let you know how the original game plays if you're not familiar with it, because this one is actually a roll and write, and each player is going to have their own sheet of paper. We're going to be keeping track of different enchantments that you unlock as well as different crafted items. But essentially the way this game works is that every single round a pool of dice are going to be rolled, and then players are each going to be choosing 2 of those dice in order to activate on their sheet in order to fill in various areas. And you're essentially trying to fill in the appropriate areas in order to craft specific items for certain order cards that are going to be showing up throughout the game. Because each player is going to have 3 order cards at the top of their sheet, and you'll be able to fulfill any of those within the round, and then you'll be gaining those victory points. But these customers are not going to sit around and wait if you take too long, so any orders that you're not able to fulfill during that round are actually going to be rotating to the player beside you. The game continues like this, and then the player with the most victory points at the end of the game wins the game. But like I said, this expansion is going to be adding 2 new modules into the game, and I think these are quite significant additions to the game, and they both look like a ton of fun. The first module is the Creatures module, and this one's going to be introducing a whole bunch of monster cards into the game, and you're going to be taking just a few of these and then building a row of monsters with a final boss monster at the end. And each player is also going to be starting the game with a sponsored hero board, and this represents an adventure that's going to be using your gear in order to fight those monsters. And this means that not only do you have the ability to craft items to fulfill those orders in the original game in order to score victory points, but you can also use your items to fulfill the requirements of your hero, because if you're able to give your hero the items that they need, that will actually increase their strength and allow them to fight stronger and stronger monsters, gaining you the victory points and abilities that come along with those after you defeat them. These additional actions usually allow you to fill in even more areas of your sheet, having a cascading effect and allowing you to complete more and more products sooner. If you're able to get your hero strong enough to get through all the monsters, there's also a final boss that's going to be worth a ton of victory points, and whoever defeats that boss first is going to be getting the most victory points. But then there's also the minions that come after it that are going to be giving any following players a little bit less. The second module offered in this campaign is actually going to be introducing brand new cards into the game known as the action cards. Along with these cards, there's going to be a brand new phase that happens after players have drafted their dice, and this is going to be known as the action phase, where players can use those cards to do all sorts of different things, because there's a whole variety of action cards that are going to be offered in this module. These action cards can allow you to spend your potion tokens, which are normally used just to increase or decrease your dice by a pip, but now can also be used to activate these action cards to allow you to brew powerful potions for even more powerful effects. There's also cards that allow players to reserve advanced orders, which will be separate from that main deck, and these are going to be worth more victory points, but if you reserve one of these orders and then you're not able to fulfill it before the end of the game, you're actually going to be losing victory points. So this does have a little bit of a push your luck mechanism where you want to try and reserve them sooner before other players take them from you, but you also want to make sure that you're going to be able to fulfill them. These are only a couple of examples of the different action cards available in the game. There's going to be a whole bunch of other cards and even cards that allow you to steal customers from your opponents. The new campaign will be offering these new expansions as well as the original game, so if either of those sound interesting to you, you can find a link in the description below.